Okay, wonderful. So thank you for being here. I am Dr. V. Brooks Dunbar. I go by Dr. Felecia Dunbar. I go by Dr. V. I am the developer and investor for the new LaVilla Entrepreneurship Center. And we're so excited to have another information session today with co-host Dr. Felecia Froe. She is a physician, and she is a physician turned investor. And I was reading your story, Felecia, about how you got into investing. It was one of your medical patients
My patients,
told you on a dare to
yeah.
to invest in a property. So I am looking forward to hearing your story just briefly about that as part of your introduction. Today we're here to talk about commercial real estate investing, and um, centered around, this project of mine, which is very near and dear, the case for the new LaVilla. So we're going to talk about the who, the what, the where, the why, the when, and the how much for the new LaVilla development project, and our partner Vestor.com, the crowdfunding campaign as a way to start to build community wealth, but community ownership in our lost and forgotten spaces. I'm going to talk about who's involved, how this project comes together in terms of how do you build this team, and the launch process itself. And then I'll turn it over to Felecia to talk about her vision behind Money with Mission. And is Wealth Build hers? That's your newest initiative, Felecia?
Actually, I have to change. I'm changing the name because of a trademark issue that I found out about.
Oh
So
no.
it's Wealth Be Hers now.
Wealth Be Hers. I love
Yeah.
that. That's just as good. And then we'll wrap it up with questions, answers, and all centered around why CRE crowdfunding matters, but in particular why investing and looking at alternative investment strategies is the way of the future. So again, I am Dr. V. I am based here in Jacksonville, Florida. I have been the owner and lead coach at the Center for Confidence now for 10 years. However, I've been a business strategist and a member of the Forbes School of Business for several years now. I currently am a business advisor for the Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women Initiative, and that is to help Black women solo enterprises to grow and scale their businesses. I'm also certified with the state of Florida to provide business technical assistance to disabled individuals who want to start their businesses. And my doctorate is centered on crisis management. And so during COVID, that was a very important time for me to do what I say is I don't save people, I save businesses. And so that was a great opportunity to show businesses how to pivot and to thrive following COVID. Before starting my business in 2016, I worked for the federal government and I published my first book. I am the author of Diva Decisions, a book on women, power, and leadership. And so happy to host this session today and to start to educate people about my new phase in life. How do we get from entrepreneurship to ownership? And I'll turn it over to Felecia.
Can we ask questions as we go? Because I was going to ask a question of you about
Of
how did you
course.
start real estate investing? Are you going to get into that later?
I can answer that now. So I have always I was one of those people right out of college who knew that I wanted to start my own business, and I also knew that I wanted to own my own properties because I was born into a family where everyone rented, and I didn't see that as a way to prosper, because at the end of the day, you didn't have anything once you put all that money invested in someone else's portfolio. So I purchased my first home. I had a goal after college to purchase my first home in 2 years. I was intentional about finding a apartment, for my first job that gave money back, gave a portion of your rent back to you if you purchase a home, within a year or 2 years after renting there. And so I did that. And then within 12 months, I started looking for a home and purchased my first home at 22, 23 years old.
That's
So I tell
amazing.
people about that because at the time, all of my friends were saying, well, you're not married. Why are you buying a home? You're not married. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I buy a home? I mean, that's a great dowry for my husband to have. We can sell it or we can stay in it. But I'm not coming to the party with absolutely nothing. I think that would be a plus in my feather in my cap. And so yeah, that's how I started investing. And then from there, every time I relocated, I purchased another property. And this is my first commercial investment. So I'm transitioning into that now for the past 3 years.
With
Yeah, thanks
crowdfunding.
for asking.
Thank you. And you guys, hi, Rhonda. How are you? I
Hi,
am
Rhonda.
Dr. Felecia Froe. I am a physician and went to school, did all those things to become a physician, a urologist, and I've been doing that for over 30 years, which floors me every time I think about how long I've been a urologist. About 2004, I actually 5 years into urology, I realized it wasn't the last thing I was ever going to do, but I didn't know what was next. And over time, I started reading about real estate. The first thing was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Learned about money for the first time in my life at already graduated medical school and in practice. So that's when I learned about money and how money works. And it was just, as Dr. V was saying, a patient of mine actually dared me to a degree, but she was doing real estate investing. I called her one day when I found a house. She said she came to look at it with me, and then she said, "Hey, if you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it. And if you buy it, I'll let you use my crew to rehab it. And if you rehab it, rent it, and don't make money, I'll buy it from you." So it was hard to not start. And we started. We started, got 18 properties under our belt within 2 years, including our primary residency, we had 19 properties. And that was in 2006, 2007. And I don't know how many of you guys know what happened in 2008, 2009. We didn't,
Recession.
we didn't know what we didn't know, and we lost it all. And it was from that I realized I needed more than just me to build this real estate. It wasn't, my husband went to real estate's not for me. We're not married anymore, not because of that, for a lot of reasons, but he was in the real estate's not for me, which a lot of people would have gone to. But for me, it was, I did something wrong. There's something I didn't know. So that's when I picked up and started getting mentors and started going to different conferences and learning more about investing. And I found out that just investing in commercial properties like apartments and those kinds of things didn't feed me. It was like medicine. I can do it and I can be good at it, but it doesn't do anything for me deeper than that. And then I found impact investing or social impact investing with our first, I invested in and actually owned a senior living facility, a memory care home, which was my first intro into social impact investing. That deal didn't go as great as I wanted it to, but that's a whole nother conversation. I've also invested in and bought and run projects for grocery stores. We built a grocery store in a food desert, and currently am doing sober living houses in Arizona. I like owning property, just like Dr. V said. I actually rented my own house and owned 4 properties that were rented. And I actually prefer that. Like, I want to own property. I don't necessarily want to own the property that I live in, which I do right now. And I got a whole thing about it. But anyway, we can have that conversation later. So Eco Alliance Group, that was the grocery store. I now live in Lawton, Oklahoma, doing the Arizona properties for sober living. They were given great returns. I wrote a book, How to Create Wealth That Outlives You. I have a podcast called Money with Mission, where we talk to women and learn about their money story and how they've gotten to be where they are and they're thinking about money and making money. And I have a community called Wealth Be Hers, which is where we as women get together and talk about money and learn about investing, because in the real world, money is a taboo subject, and I want us to get comfortable talking about it. So that's what Wealth Be Hers is about. And I help you to learn to invest, and then we get to investing.
Yeah. And we first connected with each other I was through your podcast, Money with Mission.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for mentors and had recently joined the Incremental Development Alliance and took their boot camp because, this is my first commercial venture. And so I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. So that's how we connected. So I appreciate your supporting me and continuing to mentor me and to
Absolutely.
help get the word out about the new LaVilla.
She's been on the
So
podcast twice, you guys, so go to the podcast if you missed. Okay, go ahead.
can you put that in the chat, the podcast link?
Absolutely. I gotta
Yeah.
find. Okay.
And so the case for the new LaVilla, so I'll go into, what this project is all about again, the who, what, when, where, and how we're going to do it, and then turn it over to Felecia to talk about some of her initiatives. And then if anyone has questions, you can put them in the chat. We'll make sure we open it up for questions towards the end as well, but you can ask a question at any time, that it comes to your mind. So the new LaVilla, so the LaVilla area, we'll talk about just this concept of reinvesting in our neighborhoods, our forgotten wall streets, our older commercial corridors, which is what LaVilla was. So LaVilla was this is a current crowdfunding opportunity to raise money for one of the buildings that was situated in LaVilla, a historic Black district in Jacksonville. I purchased it in 2021 and then formed the new LaVilla as the holding company for the project, had it historically landmarked so that I could convert this space into a mixed use retail, co-working, meeting, conference facility with keeping true to its original use, which was also a hotel. And that's how I got involved with Vestor. So Vestor is a crowdfunding platform founded by an African-American woman. She's based out of Atlanta, who is serious about helping people to buy hotels. I think at this point, she owned three. I think she just sold her interest in one. But this is why she built this platform. And so when I was researching, crowdfunding, how to get this thing started as a crowdfunding opportunity to bring people back into the space as owners, found Devon and her platform and realized that, the Will Hotel fit within her scope of bringing back these ownership into the hotel concept. And so that is the project. People don't really know Jacksonville, Florida. So I put this map here so that people can see, okay, where are we? We are in Jacksonville, Florida, and we intersect at I-95 and I-10. So we're on the Atlantic coast. There's a couple other Jacksonvilles out there, but this is the one in Florida, 5 hours from Atlanta, 5 hours from Miami, but equidistant just about between Savannah and some of the lower Georgia cities. We are located in the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor. So many of us, Jacksonville has the largest population of Gullah Geechee descendants in the Low Country. And so many of us, including myself, are descendants of the Gullah Geechee community. Now, LaVilla within itself was incorporated in 1866, founded in 1866 by Buffalo soldiers. And fun trivia today, my husband just told me that today is Buffalo Soldier Day to commemorate the formation of the first 6 all-Black regiments of the U.S. Army. So our Buffalo soldiers conquered the West, but those who were involved with the Civil War and fighting for the Union are also considered Buffalo soldiers. And those were the people who founded LaVilla in 1866 at the end of the Civil War. They came from around the country. Some of them were if you've seen the movie Glory, were part of the Massachusetts 55th or 54th Regiment. Fort Hatch is right behind us, 2 or 3 blocks. So this is located in the core of what used to be LaVilla. The Will Hotel was operated out of the building in 1913. It was owned by proprietress Miss Fanny Harvey. She had lodging units upstairs. Some of her tenants were Cuban immigrants. We have a cigar factory nearby. Some of them were, they worked at the Stanton High School, which was the only Black high school in the area. James Weldon Johnson, the author of Lift Every Voice and Sing, was the principal of Stanton High School. LaVilla was a very active place known as the Harlem of the South and the home of the Colored Man's Railroad. So the history and the culture here is very rich. And there's new interest and new investment now coming back into LaVilla, which was first, you know, dismantled, disinvested, with buildings being torn down, with housing being relocated for the I-95 road. So a lot of the, historic, disinvestment in these commercial corridors happened here in LaVilla as well, our former Black Wall Streets. Today, now moving forward, LaVilla is centrally located within the 8-block boundary of what we call Uptown LaVilla, which is a mixed-use commercial project. There is the LaVilla Heritage Trail, a $10 million project that is coming to encourage walking and education and learning about the area and its rich history. Uptown LaVilla is the $80 million mixed-use development. The Regional Transportation Center has been built. That is the state and the city transportation authority, and they were very intentional about naming it the Jacksonville Transportation Authority at the LaVilla. So everyone is trying to now brand themselves and anchor themselves in the rich history of this neighborhood. Lift Every Voice and Sing Park just opened last year at a price of $350 million. And then residential units are now coming back. So townhomes have been built, as well as apartment housing has been built. And again, all around LaVilla, it is thriving. Our latest announcement is the University of Florida's graduate campus, which will open its first phase by 2026 of next year. And then by 2028 will be a complete, fully built out mixed-use campus over 22 acres in LaVilla. So the why, when we're building this case for crowdfunding, we had to view this through the lens of how we're going to market this project to make sure that people were interested in supporting this campaign. And so it's not only about the why of why the new LaVilla is important, but why is this a great area to invest in, Jacksonville, Florida. So Jacksonville, Florida was designated as a supernova city by the Urban Land Institute because it recognized that this is a spot that is about to experience an explosion in rapid business and economic growth. So it's one of 5 cities with this designation by the Urban Land Institute. We also have job opportunities, low unemployment rate, no state taxes, recognized as the 4th best city for business startups. And we have the Jacksonville Jaguars football team located here. And so the market is poised for growth and for investment. And so it makes sense then that a co-working space, the question of why a co-working space fits within our business model and within the business footprint of Jacksonville and LaVilla. LaVilla being a commercial corridor, recognizing that, bringing people back into this building, into this space to be a center for entrepreneurship, but also looking at the trend data for the growth and the need and the use for commercial, for co-working spaces. And so what we're going to do is to build this out as that and more, including meeting spaces. And also, because we're located across from the courthouse, having a 35 capacity event space to offer boutique weddings and small business launches and startup events in that space. Now, our competitive position and unique value proposition is that we are a residential live work space. So we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit that is in the upstairs rear that is available for members and the public. Our co-working model is focusing on co-working and the wellness niche because, again, we are across from a 3-acre urban park with the courthouse. We also are located less than a mile from James Weldon Johnson Park, but also Lift Every Voice and Sing Park. And so understanding that business owners also need an outlet for wellness and recreation is very important to us. And we also plan to include wellness rooms and on-site activities as well. Our ICP is focused on entrepreneurship, of course, culture and the richness of the culture in the area, and sustainability, as well as being a mission-driven, socially conscious-driven community. So this is the present look of the building. That's the exterior, that's the inside. This is our future rendering of the new LaVilla. On the wall there, the mural, we are exploring having a mural that speaks to the Buffalo Soldiers. So just a beautiful mural that is devoted to and recognizing the founders of LaVilla, the Buffalo Soldiers. These renderings are of Broad Street. So as you enter Broad Street, you'll see the new LaVilla to the left, and the courthouse. We are directly across from the courthouse, and 1.1 million visitors monthly coming through that courthouse. But the courthouse is also situated on a 3-acre urban park that is going to be a designation within itself. And then where you see these white tracks here is going to be part of the LaVilla Heritage Trail. So the trail will wrap around the building, come down the front from James Weldon, from Lift Every Voice and Sing Park, and then wrap around the building and come out from the Masonic Lodge. And this right here is the Masonic Lodge,
I have a question.
Masonic Temple. Yes.
Can you go back to that rendering?
Okay.
The
Yeah.
buildings adjacent, are those, who owns those? Are those part of the?
These are, the one in the middle is owned by the city, and I'm going back and forth with conversations with them about, the best use of that space and how we may be able to work something out with the city. They're very protective of their ownership of this building. The one on the end is privately owned, and the owner of this building on the end is actually the one who's developing Gateway Jacks. So Gateway Jacks is another huge development on Pearl Street. And so all of these new developments for walking distance from the new LaVilla, I feel as if we're centrally located in a radius of activities that's going to happen within the next 4 years. I don't even think it's going to be 3 to 4 years, and we're online to open in sync with that timeline as well.
And is the city doing anything with that building? What's there now?
Nope, it's closed. It's boarded up and closed. Let me go back to it's boarded up and closed.
That's what I thought.
And they've received several offers on it. I don't have good intel on what their intentions are, but they are aware that I am interested, and they've expressed that they would like for one of the owners of either building, either unit on either side of it, to own that building. But so far we haven't really made much progress on the conversation, but it's something that I will continue to discuss. Yeah, thank you, Felecia. Okay. And so the future, this is a snapshot of everything that surrounds the new LaVilla. We are, blocks from the Prime Osborne Convention Center. The Performing Arts Center is, walking distance, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, half a mile, so 4 blocks from us. Jane Wells and Johnson Park is 3 blocks to the east, and then Lift Every Voice and Sing Park is 3 blocks to the north of us. So again, we're equidistant to everything. Fort Hatch is behind us. Of course, the Masonic Lodge shares the intersection. The library downtown is 4 blocks. So we are centrally located to everything, to major assets in Jacksonville. Broad Street itself is a major thoroughfare. It was back then, it still is now. There's 6,800 cars, vehicles on that road every single day. And, the largest, the furthest asset from us is 1.6 miles. That is Everbank Stadium where the Jaguars play. So the timeline for the new LaVilla is where we are now. So building and permitting has been a long intentional process. We were initially approved for a permit pending safety plan approvals from the fire department. We, the building is old, it's going to be gutted. It needs to be updated in terms of electrical and safety features. One of the things that has occurred is we have to create a separate entrance for the residents. So we're going through those changes now, and then circling back around to get approval from the Historic Commission because we had the property historically landmarked. And when you have it historically landmarked, you cannot touch the facade. You have to get approval to make any changes. And so because there's a safety issue, we expect that approval to come any day now. And so the target date for approval of DIA incentives, that's the Downtown Investment Authority approval from the Historic Commission to move forward, we're expecting is by Q4 of this year, with groundbreaking starting in 2026. The build out should take about 12 months. So that puts us opening somewhere in late 2027, middle to late 2027. So this is the rendering of the building. So when you're talking about the team, there's very planned out intentional steps and phases that you have to go through. And so the first team that is involved is the architects, the design team, architect, engineer, and the contractor is involved in making sure that everything is built out, planned, and has all of those city code compliance. All the requirements are included in the property. This is a 6,300 square foot facility. So we have 3,000 plus downstairs, 3,000 upstairs. We plan on having a retail coffee shop, gift shop, and then the co-working space is 2,600 square feet approximately. And then the event, reception, conference room, and the residential units all make up the remaining spaces. So this is just an example of what we had to submit to the fire department and code compliance. The changes in the drawings, everything you see there in red, were revised and resubmitted and are now pending approval. We received approval from one board. Now we just have to get approval from the Historic Commission. Looking at the numbers and building out a pro forma is another important piece when you're working on developing a crowdfunding campaign, because all of this information has to be submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission. And so looking at the business model, market strategy, as well as the financial projections is very important for this space to have. So this is our very conservative one-year projection. I'm going through these fairly quickly. The slides are the pitch deck slides are on the LaVilla platform, but if anyone would like to have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation with me, I'll put my meeting link in the chat as well to go over all of the details of these numbers and performance and how we got there. The investor raise on the platform, so we are asking for an initial minimum investment of 10, 15, 25, and 50. And with that comes investment perks. So we have founding membership perks that come with this. And those perks include use of, discounts or free use of the meeting spaces. For example, if you're a $50,000 investor, currently we have a 4-year offering of use of the space worth about $40,000, including, coaching, consulting if you're a business owner. But through the next 2 weeks, for everyone on the call, we have a double investment opportunity where you will get 8 years of membership in the co-working space if you're an investor at that level, and then it's incremental down from there. And again, I can ask any specific questions or schedule a one-on-one with you. Rhonda, did you have a question? Wonderful. And so these are just incentives, federal, state, local. I do not know which ones may or may not apply, but I wanted potential investors to be aware that there may be opportunities for them outside of the specific campaign itself. With the Securities and Exchange Commission, I had to work with an attorney to develop all the documents to submit to their portal. So use of proceeds had to be spelled out and very clear in terms of our ask, because this is investments, these are securities, so there is always a risk involved. So full disclosure is something that we had to make sure that we answered any potential questions that come up and submit all of that information to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay, and the team is also part of that. So in the pitch deck, that this full deck was submitted without, Felicia and I's pictures and images in there. But this deck was also submitted to Securities and Exchange Commission. And so it includes all of the risk factors that are involved, the team that is involved in the project and their credentials, and any information or questions that could potentially come up are also on the website in our Q&A session. So if anyone has any questions for me, I can answer those questions, and I will also turn it over to Felicia to talk about her work.
I want to highly encourage anyone who has any interest whatsoever in this to get on a call. I copied Dr. V's contact information, how to get on her schedule, because just because you can have a question and not be planning to invest, but make the call so that you can at least get to know her better, get to know why she's doing what she's doing better. And just it's really important to have these one-on-one conversations. So I highly encourage anybody who has an inkling of interest in anything like this to get on a call with her.
Yeah, this is about education, information, and learning so that we can figure out this wealth gap thing. How do we start to look at reinvesting in our communities and taking ownership stock back in our communities?
And I don't know how many, heard that right now the investment is $10,000 and you go, oh my God, I don't have $10,000 to invest. Everybody feels that way. I feel that way when somebody says I need 10,000, like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out where I can get $10,000 from. That where my head goes, I got to figure out. A lot of times I don't have it and end it. So that's another reason to get on the call. Is like, I don't see it. And having a conversation can help you see where you may have that money to invest.
Yeah, I started to realize that recently with the questions that were coming in on the Vestor platform. And so today I actually posted an infographic, 13 ways to invest in a commercial real estate crowdfunding platform campaign. And so we're starting to talk about that more as well, to help people to think about what this could look like for them in their situation.
Perfect. And I don't have a lot to add. I talked about one of the things I was doing with the sober living communities in Arizona. Again, we have a minimum investment, wanting to get more women investing, and it's a scary thing to invest. $10,000 is the minimum. And what I tell people is $10,000 isn't going to change your life. It will change your mind about investing. You will learn so much by just putting that $10,000 out there. So that's the big thing that I've got going on right now. The other thing I'm working on is I still believe that I'm working on food in food deserts. So I'm on the board of a company in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, not in the corridor that we're talking about, but the Black Wall Street where the massacre occurred, and working to build up the food, the supply chain, make it better. We learned so much about how bad our supply chains are during COVID that we're working to make that better and put little grocery stores in neighborhoods so we get rid of food deserts. And the small grocery stores, working on that being a franchise type model. And maybe even Dr. V's got me thinking now about the crowdfunding so that we can all be a part of raising funds for that and getting grocery stores where people really need them with fresh food and not the stuff that kills you fast.
Yeah. Before so this, commercial real estate crowdfunding, alternative investment strategy only came around a few years ago under the Jobs Act. I think it was 2016 or so.
Yeah.
Because before, a $1.2 million raise is a small raise, but you had to be an accredited investor, meaning you had to have a pretty significant net worth. And so with the Jobs Act, it lowered that threshold. So there's a category now that is called non-accredited investors, meaning you don't have to be a multimillionaire or higher in order to invest. You just have to have a percentage threshold where you can't go over your investment amount. And so a lot of things have come out of that recession of 2008 or what have you, and then moving into the Jobs Act to give people opportunities to create wealth for themselves. And so it's a matter of just education and figuring out how we can pool our resources together and really go for, again, owning our own assets so they can't be taken from us. And that's what this project is about. Are there any questions? Yeah,
I
go
just
ahead,
want to say
Phyllis.
one more time what again about you and how persistent you were, because I know that getting this crowdfunding thing up was way longer than you planned on it being, and many things have not gone the way you planned, but this woman's persistence in getting this done got it done. So if you're worried about that, if you don't know her and you're worried about her persistence and her desire to make something happen, don't worry about that. She's going to do it.
Yeah, actually the crowdfunding approach, I realized that, lenders, well, everybody knows lenders. They are, they're not trying to be helpful at all. And I saw myself as one of those candidates who was one of the people who people want to give money to, high credit score, low debt, just everything looks good. But I started to realize that, there was something else going on with, wanting to, lend or loan money out to, uh, you know, to me. I'll just say to me. I don't know what the issue was, but it didn't have anything to do with credit. It didn't have anything to do with my debt ratio. All of that looks good. It had to do with something else I couldn't figure out. And so, um, my intention was not to let this die. And so how can we spread it out to where the risk, as well as the reward, is evenly distributed? And so that's what I started to think about for this community. And then also doing this one building at a time. I don't want the new LaVilla to be the one and done. I'm already talking to individuals in Bowley, and Felicia, I should be out there in September. I need to let you know that. In Bowley, because Bowley is, I did not know that Oklahoma had the largest, the highest number of Black owned or Black founded towns.
Historic town.
So Bowley is one of those who's there. And then also Lexington, Kentucky, the organization Black Yarn has a campaign there. And so I'm using the Incremental Development Alliance platform to bring awareness of, individuals who are doing great things and trying to bring us all together so we can have a larger impact, a larger voice. Can I ask anyone on the call? So we were talking to Victoria earlier about why she's on the call. Would anybody else like to share what they're curious about or what they like to learn?
I would. My name is
Yes.
Ron. I would like to know which one of you is a lawyer.
Neither.
Do you have a lawyer that?
Oh, absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
we
So yeah, so
questions
what I was
into.
saying earlier about, working with the lawyer to pull all of the numbers together to look at the financials. So part of the process was that I had to have an attorney and go through a financial audit, as well as, an accountant and go through a financial audit. And then after going through the financial audit, work with the attorney to prepare the paperwork for the Securities and Exchange Commission. And so our attorney, Bernard Coleman, is out of Atlanta. This is a big industry I'm finding for lawyers. to work specifically with people who are interested in launching crowdfunding campaigns. And the attorney was a very big, and that's why it took a little bit longer, because we thought we'd launch in the fall, because he was very meticulous, very intentional, and very careful about, us having all of the information, but not only all the information, all the answers that we needed to submit to the SEC and file. Yeah, thank you for that question. Don't do it without an attorney.
You can't do
Okay,
this without an attorney.
I
Go
need
ahead,
a
Rhonda.
personal attorney to deal with your attorney in trying to bring clarity about my financial background and or people that I am affiliated with who cannot be a part of this particular development package that you're presenting right now. Are there certain entities that cannot, or are you separately looking for individuals, or can they be a group of individuals? Do we need to have a certain package financial in order to do this?
No, so that's where the Vestor platform comes from. So the other piece is that we have to have an intermediary who is also approved and registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So the platform that we are using as our intermediary is Vestor.com. And so through Vestor.com, that's where you have your background checks. That's where you have a independent fiscal agent assigned to the campaign to make sure the funds are distributed and managed properly. So that is Vestor for us. Now, for the individuals who want to invest, they're accredited investors, non-accredited investors, but also someone asked a question on the very first pitch call about organizations and trust. And so I would, if you want to schedule a one-on-one with me, I can get you that information from Vestor.com, because my attorney has me sufficiently terrified about saying the wrong thing. I want to make sure I understand your question, or I can just, refer you to the right person.
How much is that one-on-one per hour?
Did you say how much is it per hour?
Yeah.
Was that, I missed the first part, because there isn't any cost. No.
To have a conversation.
To talk to me. Yeah, to talk to me, there isn't any cost. I mean, this is information and education that I'm putting out there for anyone who is interested in investing, but also if you have questions.
And I think, Rhonda, your question is complicated.
It sounds like, yeah.
And I think a one-on-one would be good to just even better understand the question. My
attorney has me sufficiently terrified about saying the wrong thing. So once I'm clear on what your question is, I can send you to the right person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Where are you located, Rhonda?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I'll be up there on the 20th. So happy to meet in person.
The 20th of August?
Yes, ma'am. Where
will you be?
I'll be in what's the area called? I'm on a podcast there. I believe it's close to downtown. I can't remember the little town. But it's a podcast. Can you put your information in the chat, or if you want to schedule time, I'll give you all of that information.
Okay.
I love Philly. I used to live in Philly.
Oh, okay. Well, I have some friends that are in business outside of Atlanta, and I'm quite sure people are talking about multiple streams of income, like not to just have everything in one thing, because the person was talking about the different investments that, kind of she didn't know enough. And so to hear her say she didn't know enough, that's true. We don't know enough, or the information that we do know is incorrect. It's not best suited for us. So, and you're saying your lawyer has you paranoid about what you answer to. So all that tends to create cortisol, stress.
What you answer to on a recorded thing.
recorded?
This is recorded, and this could be out into the world, and we don't know who's going to hear this. So that's why we cannot say some things on a recorded webinar. When you have a conversation with Dr. V, she'll tell you what you need to know.
Okay.
Thank you, Felecia.
Mm-hmm.
And this recording is shared for anyone who may have missed tonight. It goes on our YouTube channel. Thank you, Rhonda.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. V, this is Marcia with Team
Hi,
Leader.
Marcia.
How are
Hey,
you?
doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thanks for the invite. I jumped on because I was just really excited about what was going on in LaVilla. Obviously a native of Jacksonville. I'm very interested in this. So I just want to hear more. And I will schedule this.
Yes, thank you. Please do. Yeah, and you can give me your number as well, or use the link. It's probably easier if I just send you a quick email and call you back.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for us?
How long would you expect any kind of investment residuals to, the various, investments that you invest in?
Yeah, so our hold period is 3 to 4 years. So 1 year after operations conclude, so 12 months after operations conclude, we are currently using a safe instrument, which is a simple agreement for future equity. That's the
Could you
instrument that
explain
we're
that?
using.
1 year after
Operation start. 1 year after operation start is what I think you meant.
Yeah, so currently the investment is going towards the construction. And so under the simple agreement for future equity, the initial investment is going to be taken out of the equity, the new value in the building, once it's completed. After the building's completed, we have the option of anyone who is a shareholder, because you will be considered a shareholder if we raise at least the 1 million. Anyone who is a shareholder will have an opportunity to receive dividends once it opens and we are operating. So there's the 3 to 4 year hold is we have to complete the build out and then complete 1 year of operations. And we plan to do that within 3 to 4 years. And so that would be considered the hold period.
That's really common on development projects where your money's out there for a while. Hey, Rhonda, go up to, you just sent the message you'd like a private info session. Her calendar, Dr. V's calendar, is just a little bit, one message up from where you put yours. And you can just click on that and schedule something. Do you see it?
Dr. Dunbar?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes. And let me put out there that I have a 10 o'clock and an 11:30 already on it. So outside of those times is fine. Because the schedule's for Wednesdays.
Each week, Wednesday?
Weekly on Wednesdays.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm on the right spot. It says visit, cancel. Check this link.
The Calendly link? Okay, I'll go ahead and give you a call then. I'll go ahead and give you a call.
And so
Yeah,
Dr. V,
yeah, no worries. Yes, Victoria.
Hey, yes. So are you going to have more of these meetings? And I asked that because of your breakdown just now on expected returns, great educational conversation, on how if someone is interested in investing, again, the expected returns, what that looks like, and why there's the whole period.
Yeah, so those questions, we put a meaty list of Q&As on the Vestor platform.
Make a call.
If you send me an email with specific questions, I'll respond, with so the people who have been sending me questions. I answer the questions, but I also post those questions on Vestor.com for anyone else who may have that same question in their mind. So a lot of them have been answered already, but if you email me with any specific questions, I'm more than happy to respond with an answer to it. And those questions have definitely been answered.
Frequently one question leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So that's why, to me, the call is the best. I just want to keep saying that. Sorry, I'm gonna fill up your calendar, but the call is the best way
I
to
want
get
my calendar full. Yeah, thank you, Felecia. And so, and the other question was, I'm glad you asked, like, are we doing more of these? So every week is a webinar with a different investor. So next week, we have Kristen Kitchens, who owns the Dunn's Josephine Hotel in Overtown, Miami, as well as a bed and breakfast in Cleveland. And so we want to bring on as many people as possible to give you all different perspectives, different context or understandings around investing, so that we start to increase, that level of business acumen and literacy around all types of alternative investing strategies, with, the crowdfunding path, being the way for me, leading with that. So next week, same time, Mondays, 7 p.m. Except for maybe that week that I'm traveling. I'm still thinking through that week when I'm in Philly.
But I would pretty much tell everybody that you're not going to ever on a webinar talk about the returns and all that kind of stuff. Is that correct? Or would you ever talk about that?
Correct, because this is a security. So again, there's always risk. There's no certainty. So that's what we have to lean into very heavily, letting anyone who is thinking about investing know that, this is, a future projection. All we can offer are illustrations of what could be potential returns, but nothing is guaranteed in an investment environment. So that is the consistent language that we have to use, that investing is a risk.
And the thing about, to me, investing with somebody is them. So that's why getting on a call is building that personal relationship so that you can trust Dr. V, that she's going to take care of your money as well as you would take care of your own. And you're investing in her as much as you're investing in this project. So that's the biggest difference to me than putting your money on the stock market. Is you want to know her and what she's doing and trust her. And then, yes, the returns are going to come, and there's no guarantee they're going to come. There's none. But she's working to make it happen for you.
Yes. And you're investing in a vision as well. I mean, my vision is just, to restore our communities one building at a time. And so when I talk about, when this is done, it's not the end. That is my vision.
Hi, Jessica. She might not be listening right now. I love this. Thank you. And just for you guys,
I
wealth
am listening.
builders.
Sorry, I couldn't get back to the unmute button. Hi. I was also trying to schedule my call for this Wednesday. Hi, Dr. V.
Hello.
Jess is one of our wealth builders, Wealth Be Hers members. So
awesome. And definitely everyone join, sign up for Felicia's podcast. And she has awesome speakers, an awesome platform, awesome topics. And she is just as passionate as I am about educating. And, and it also takes a bit of unlearning, like learning bad information, not bad information, but just misinformation around investing and investment strategies.
And a lot of times we don't even know we have it. We don't even know those things are there. So those all just talking about money and investing gets you to see a lot of things that you have in your head.
Absolutely. All right, we are at the hour. So I welcome anyone to get on my calendar for tomorrow. Again, my 10 o'clock and 11:30 is taken, but outside of that, I'm golden. And go and look at the new LaVilla website. It's the newlavilla.com. Look at the membership perks for founding members and benefits for those who invest, but also for those who are interested in just being a member of the space and supporting the space as well. We are on LinkedIn at the new LaVilla. We have the YouTube channel. So we are trying to push and get the word out. Please support us in that and getting the word out about this opportunity, because this is a long-term vision. And there will be opportunities along the way as we continue to do this and to be successful. This is the model that we're starting with. Any other thoughts or questions for me?
Do you all have any type of, I don't know, portfolio, something that, you know, basically has pretty much what you've been talking of today in recent projects, success projects that you've already, you know, mastered and are already returning investments to, you know, investors?
This is my first project that I'm putting, that is a crowdfunding project. My previous projects have been personal. I was just talking about this church I just purchased, and that was all me. It was just a passion project. So this is the first for me when it comes to community reinvestment.
And
What about
Rhonda,
you,
I have a couple of houses in Arizona that are returning, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about that if you would like. And I put my phone number in the chat, and just text me, I'm interested, and I'll get you a Calendly link to schedule.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rhonda. And thank you everyone for being here tonight. We appreciate your time joining us on a Monday evening. We will have another one next week. So feel free to join us and tell all of your friends and anyone who's curious or interested in investing in the project. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful,
Can I just say,
wonderful.
Dr. V, I am
Yes, Victoria.
so proud of you. I am so happy for you. I'm like so excited to see where this goes.
Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate that. I'm coming to see you. I promise. I promise.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you.
See you soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you, Felecia.
Take care, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.